2 more hours. Does anybody need to scratch in the audience? Go for it.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight I'm going to present a brief overview of our tentative budget for the 1920 school year. We began budget development going back to October with a set between the administrators and finance committee of what our goals were for the upcoming budget year. You can see them. We identified 4 goals at the time, which still hold true today. To continue to develop a fiscally responsible budget that accounts for all contractual obligations, fixed costs, maintains class size in an effort to meet all the needs of the stakeholders and to deliver creative educational experiences for the students. Our next goal is in the area of training, to continue to increase our professional development in curriculum writing so that all teachers are properly trained to deliver up-to-date curriculum for our students. In the area of technology, we'd like to continue our technology plan to ensure its effective use in the classroom to increase student achievement. This includes upgrades to existing equipment, newer equipment that administration feels would help better deliver curriculum. And in the last goal was in the area of facilities to develop multi-year maintenance and capital budgets to ensure the students are learning in a safe and healthy environment. The next slide is some data on the district's enrollment for the past 9 years. Our October 15th of 2018 enrollment was 764 students. Right now, we're projecting approximately 759. If you remember last year, we had a large kindergarten class coming into the district, and this year we have a large 6th grade class that's exiting, so that accounts for a little bit of a decrease in enrollment. But if you see here for the past 9 years, there is, our enrollment does hold true over the past 9 years, going up, going down, but remaining still flat. So, budget highlights. What we have here in this budget are anticipated increase in costs for our support services and out-of-district placements, anticipated increase in fixed costs such as our insurance, whether it be medical, dental, property insurance, workman's compensation insurance, our telephone, utilities, contractual arrangements, any leases, anticipated salary increases for our union negotiations that are currently underway, and of course maintaining all current curriculum and programs. In addition, we have a possible increase in instructional staff, which the administration and the finance committee are currently working on at this moment. Various technology upgrades, which I'll talk about in the subsequent slide. Capital renovations for an increase of our instructional spaces here at OPS. And a social and emotional learning curriculum and professional development that the board and the public had received a presentation by our principal a few meetings ago. So in the area of technology, we're going to be replacing the Chromebooks for grade 5. The Chromebooks that are currently with the 5th grade will go to the 3rd graders. We're going to be purchasing 6 smartboards for grade 1. We're going to be purchasing some upgrades and replacing existing classroom technology as needed. And we are putting forth a district-wide fiber and switch project to be funded in part with E-rate funding. And for those of you that are not familiar with E-rate, this program is a federal program that came into existence many years ago in an effort to get the internet into classrooms. So how the federal funding works is that the district has to provide eligible projects that would fit the needs of the building. And once they are approved projects, Oradell is listed as a 20% district, which means for every dollar we spend, we'll be reimbursed 20%. So if we were to, if we had a project, this is just an estimate number that was $100,000, we would be entitled, we would only be responsible for 80% of that project. Capital projects. As you remember, last year we withdrew funds from our capital reserve account to fund the 3 sections of our roof. Now this year we're going to withdraw $570,475 to increase of our instructional spaces, namely increasing instructional space on the 2nd floor and the lower level, adding teacher professional development space, and moving the school book room to a more accessible location. Currently, the book room is in a classroom, so when the teachers want to access it, they need to be very quiet and tiptoe and get into the classroom. This way, they'll have their own space that they can come and go as they please. So the next slide here is our tentative budget, which is what you will see in the board motion. I have compared here for you our current year budget as opposed to our proposed 19-20 budget. Overall, a dollar increase of $368,190 and a percentage increase of 2.65%. I put an asterisk next to our special revenue, which our local and federal grants, state and federal grants. Effective July 1, the district received a letter that we will no longer be eligible for Title I funding. So, which is a disappointment because we have been able to identify significant uses for those funds with the before school programs. Our debt service, there is a typo there. There should be brackets around the $2,750. The total is correct. And for state and federal grants, I budget conservatively because you never know what year happens to the next, so I usually budget 85% of our current allocation. Usually, the funding comes in a little bit higher, but I like to be conservative with the numbers. Revenue highlights. So, if you remember, when we were working on presenting our 18-19 school budget, we brought in a tax levy of under 2%. It was 1.8% increase. This year, we have proposed a tax levy with an increase of 2.41%. And in the subsequent slide, I will further explain the tax levy. So I'm not going to read through every item here, but what I wanted to highlight was I have state aid highlighted in green. Oradell, after we approved our 18-19 budget in July, we were notified we received an additional $7,722 in state aid, which the board made a motion to use it toward our Big Math program. And for 1920, Governor Murphy released the state aid figures. Oradell received an additional $51,861, which was not anticipated, so that was very good news. The next line of excess surplus, those are the funds that are identified in the district's audit that must be used for tax relief. So you'll see there is an increase between 18-19 and 19-20. Extraordinary aid. Extraordinary aid is a funding source to assist districts whose out-of-district costs for special education students in excess of $40,000. Every May, there is an application that the district must submit where we itemize every dollar that we spend toward on special education students. And based on the total cost, a ratio was struck, and the district ceased funding. Current roughly, for 18-19, $50,000 was budgeted. Again, like to be conservative. The actual for 17-18, the district received approximately $83,000. So you'll see I increased the revenue stream a little bit based on our current out-of-district expenditures and special education expenditures. I feel fairly confident that the funding will be there. Moving down, miscellaneous, interest income, rentals. We have OPS, fortunately has more and more groups coming and using our facilities. It's a nice revenue stream for the district. The capital reserve withdrawal is a little bit less. And then moving down, there are, regarding our state grants, which are mostly for our non-public school in the district. So what comes in, goes out. We just have to account for it on our books. There is a typo there. There is a zero difference, not a $42,000 difference. And then for the next line down for our federal grants, which is our IDEA grant, preschool and basic grant, which the district uses to offset their out-of-district tuition costs, and ESSA, which are your titles 2, 3, and 4 grants. I'm estimating those a little bit higher, and again, there is a typo on that line. That should be an increase of $102,767. I apologize for that. Bringing us with an overall increase in our revenues of $504,039, which is approximately 3.76%. The last item I will touch on briefly is budgeted fund balance. And what that means is we're working on a budget that's not happening for a few months down, so that sometimes there are a lot of unknowns. So during the course of the year, which is what we're doing now, we analyze the budget line by line, penny by penny, budget versus actual, to see what our obligations are going to be through June 30th, and see what kind of funds we can use to support next year's budget to keep the tax levy conservative. And based on our calculations, we're able to use $160,000 of our potentially generated surplus for the 18-19 school year. The next slide here, very pretty colorful pie chart of how the funds are spent. What I want to touch on, you can see here that 33% is spent, between 33 and 24% is on instruction for our students. The rest of it, as you can see, is going for benefits, administration, support services, student support services, our attendance office, our health office, library and media, our guidance department. Facilities speak for themselves. Benefits, that would be employer share of FICA on non-certified staff, uniforms for our custodians, our health, dental, prescription benefits. The Board of Education has an employer share on the PERS pension fund, which is upwards of $100,000 alone, and the district's workers' comp insurance. So on our tax levy, how the tax levy is struck, you take the prior year tax levy, which you can see here, last year, current year is $11,459,631. And what they define as a hard cap, when you take that tax levy and multiply it by 2%. For this school year, the district has the option to take an enrollment waiver of $45,777 based on enrollment projections from the prior year. So that enrollment adjustment represents a 0.41 increase in our tax levy. So as with the 2 percentage points, then it's weighted. So if you took 2% on the $11,459,631, that would be $11,688,824. You would add the enrollment adjustment weighted, brings you to the total of $11,735,516 for the general fund obligation. So what does this all mean to you? So on this slide, I find is very useful because it tells you how it affects your pocketbook. So in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the net valuations was $1.664 billion, and for 1920, those are the estimated valuation taxable to the district, which is an increase of $11,056,247, 4.66%. The net valuations went up in Oradell. If you remember last year, the valuations went up by $22 million. There has been a rolling assessment in Oradell that is slowly winding down. So when you take the net valuation into the tax levy amount, you will see the tax levy rate there. So based on the tax levy rate increased by 1.6%. On the middle of the page, I created some examples so you can see how this would affect you. In Oradell, the school tax rate, as you know, your tax rate is comprised of several things. It's the school rate, the municipal rate, the county rate. I think there's a tax for open space. But the school district portion is 26% of your total bill. So for example, if your home value is $900,000, your estimated tax bill for the school portion is about $6,481. You take that dollar amount, you divide it into the tax rate that provides $898,888. That's how I proved the math. So now moving forward to 1920, if your home value now increases to $905,000, because I believe most everybody in the district has received their new assessment cards. So you will be able to calculate this on an individual basis. So your estimated school tax bill would be $6,621 divided by the tax rate proposed. The value is $904,508, which means that your estimated school tax increase would be $152 annually or 42 cents a year.
A day.
A day. Thank you. Paying attention. So, important dates to remember. We are going to be submitting our budget to the county superintendent for review. And then on April 24th, at our regularly scheduled board meeting, we're going to have a public hearing on the budget and final adoption. This is just a tentative budget. The Finance Committee, we're still working diligently on all the account lines. We want to cram a lot of expenditures and keeping within a reasonable tax levy. So we're constantly reworking the numbers, and we will have another budget, possibly the same or different. We're just constantly reworking the numbers, trying to account for everything that's happening. So, anybody have any questions?
Any questions? I have. Mrs. Lee, go ahead.
So I have a couple of questions, and my first one might not be for you, and so I apologize. Do we know what happened with Title I?
It's based on the letter we received from the state that based on our 2017 census.
Right, so the reason is because we don't have a high enough percentage of eligible students to qualify.
And then could you clarify for me, if possible, tonight, we're approving to send this budget to the county executive. And so with doing that, we are still able to make changes having just received this budget tonight myself?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Darian?
Yes. We had a presentation this evening from Johnson Controls about our ESIP project, and we spent quite a bit of money there, but that was all financed through energy savings, and that didn't come out of the operating budget for the school district. Last year, we spent, I don't know the exact number, 140, 170, somewhere around there. I wasn't here last year, but to repair the roofs. And it's my understanding that that money is coming out of capital reserve, which is a reserve account or a savings account. We put aside monies for those types of expenditures. And this year, we are increasing educational space by adding classrooms, and we're financing it from our capital reserve also. Is that correct? So in your pie chart, for total revenue for the 19-20 school year, the years are going by so quickly, the 4% for capital projects, the revenue associated with that is basically our savings. Yes. So I just want to state for the record, that, we've been doing a pretty good job in terms of saving money and then spending it accordingly in the way it should be spent. And we haven't been dipping into our operational expenses to do things like maintain this building.
And then also every year, the board has been making motions in June to deposit additional funds into those reserve accounts.
Right, we replenish them, that's correct.
Any other questions? Okay. Moving on, minutes. Review of February 27th, any comments or questions, please email Shelley. We have approval of February 14th, do I have a motion? That will be approved February 14th. Second?
Second.
Mr. Darian. Any questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Abstain.
Mrs. Norian?
Abstain.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Abstain. Committee reports, administrative items. Mr. Darian, would you take that?
Yes, I would like to make a motion on items A1, A2.
Any comments or questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
No.
Mrs. Levy?
No.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Darian?
Yes, we had a meeting since our last board meeting, and the minutes are included in the packet. I think the only thing significant really we need to discuss is regarding our facility improvements. Our architect came to the facility, inspected the building, took copious notes. Hopefully they're accurate and precise, and we should be receiving a drawing relatively soon. And then based on those drawings, we'll be able to determine what's the magnitude, the scope of the work. So with that said, I'd like to introduce, I think we only have one, is that correct? Yeah.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh? Yes. Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Curriculum, Mrs. Norian?
Yes, you find in your packet the notes from prior curriculum and instruction meeting. Here we highlighted, of course, our successes with the Title I program that we have had in the past. That probably is the most significant. It was really nice to hear what a nice job we had done with that. And we can check over some of the other things that we're looking at. Professional development and a possible change in or a possible difference in teaching delivery. We were supposed to have a meeting this afternoon, but we gave up our time for finance. So
Thank
we
you.
did get
Finance,
our budget prepared. So we do need to reschedule our meeting this afternoon.
Finance, Mrs. Shapiro?
Finance met this evening, finance met Monday, finance met last week, finance met the week before.
Thank you.
We've been going over a lot of numbers, and it's a good thing that Ms. Shilling's in accounting. I'm not. One of the great things about being on finance and working with you is when we get quotes, it's hard to know how much something should cost. What's in my house might be $5,000, this year $50,000. Or here it's $10,000 in my house, here it's $250,000. And Ms. Shawnee always says, get more quotes, and that's what we did, and that's what she did. 4 quotes on, was it the windows? Yeah. Because they come in on all different numbers. So we are really, again, not taking out of operating budget, but this building is a lot to maintain. So thank you for the presentation this evening, and I'm sure we'll be doing it again soon. This evening, I would like to make a motion to approve items D1 through D11.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Walker. And again, a thank you to Rotary for $3,000. That was huge. Any questions? Call the question?
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro? Yes. Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Delegate report, Mr. Walsh?
I had a legislative meeting Saturday. And I do have minutes, they'll be in the next packet. Including the 2 resolutions that we will have it for you have. And going down to Jacob Case Saturday for see
This Saturday?
this Saturday.
Do we have trouble? Mr. Walsh? Okay. We have to add you. Where are you going?
JB Case.
Where is that?
Flemington.
I'll put it on the next agenda.
I think we're drilling.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Good luck, that's right. Okay, personnel, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, thank you. We had a comprehensive meeting today at which you'll receive that information in your packet. A number of things were discussed, and I'd like to present F1.
Dr. Wesley, wait a second. Any other questions? Mrs. Levy?
What is the hoops intramural basketball program, and how does that fall into personnel?
What's the number, Mike?
It's from the personnel report on, I guess, A. It's the red part that was added in. Oh, yeah, 5A, sorry. Oh.
The addition has to do with students who are participating, who require some additional staffing.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro? Yes. Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, Mrs. Levy, policy?
Yes, we are going to be meeting on March 22nd again, and I provided the following policies for second reading and adoption, listed the phys ed and health, remedial instruction, gifted and talented, and home instruction.
Do I have a second? Dr. Wesley? Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro? Yes. Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley? Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, public relations, Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, we met on February 27th. I gave you guys the update then. I think you have the notes in our packet. One thing I would ask, did anyone get a copy of the mission statement? The notes say that it was attached, but I didn't. Did you guys get that? Okay. So that is something, I don't know, Dr. Ansel, if you have an update on that from?
was attached. So I can send it out first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, that'd be great.
It should have been.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has it.
Okay, well, I apologize, I'm sorry.
So the mission statement, we reviewed 6 versions of it, and the committee did come to an agreement on one. You guys should have that soon. I would have liked to have had it tonight so we could talk about it, but we will get it soon. The newsletter did go out, and then we have a coffee with the superintendent coming up. So we'll keep you updated on that. Our next meeting is on March 27th.
When's the coffee with the superintendent?
It is going to be in April, but we don't have March. It is going to be by the end of March.
Yeah.
I think there's dates.
Yeah.
There are dates, I saw it on the website,
Next
so,
week.
yeah, the only reason I know about it was from here, and because I opened the homepage, so I wanted to suggest, like, much like they did the coffee with the cop, we have to get it out there, you know, get the word out.
We sent a email blast. I put it on the website. Or I think it was,
Isn't that, isn't it the last one?
oh, yeah, it was
Okay.
included in the last one.
All right, so just to get on the record, what is the date and time of it?
The 20th, it says on the website, from 5 to 6,
6. And where is it being held?
and the 22nd from 8:45 a.m. to 9:45 a.m.
So there's 2 of them, in the evening, 1 in the morning, 1. And they're both going to be over in the library.
Okay.
Okay, almost 2.5 hours later, open to the public.
Megan Mosey is president of Oradell Administrators Association. Is shown the lead throw my name in that book for me. So that team over there that I bring with me everywhere I go, my little posse, they work through meetings, and you may not know that. So I wanted to share something they just shared with me. Because I've done 2 board presentations in 2 weeks, in 2 board meetings, correct? I had a lot of questions about today's, and a lot of questions about the last one. Yet, based on the data they just analyzed, there are 231 schools in Bergen County. That includes elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Our summative score places us at number 22. We have a higher summative score than every elementary school in Ridgewood, every elementary school in Tenafly. We are achieving. And I always will take your feedback about how we can do better, because you know me. I'm not going to be happy until we're number 1, until we have 100%. But I also want to share something else. I had physical altercation with a 3rd grader, between 2 3rd graders today, physical altercation between 2 6th graders today, 2 students in the middle of an anxiety attack that I had to figure out a way to use deep breathing to calm them down. Please don't forget, you have 2 district goals. Don't let this one overshadow District Goal 2, because District Goal 2 is just as important, if not more so, for this community. And I felt